Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new today's video. And today's video, it's going to be a brand new political discussion based video talking about what California and Salinas Valley State Prison is up to, and what they've been doing to make real reform to their criminal justice system. And the country that they're learning from is the country of Norway, where it's more focused on rehabilitation and restorative justice. Because you see, Salinas Valley State Prison Warden Matthew Ashley was among the 30 leaders from the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation that traveled to Norway to ultimately see how that state does prison differently, how they treat incarcerated people differently, to see which features can we learn from Norway, in which we can implement that into our justice system as a way to lower incarceration, to lower the prison population, to ensure that when incarcerated individuals get out, they won't come back. They will not commit another damn crime again. So when the idea is, when incarcerated individuals come out of prison, they would be more incentivized to get a job and to simply start life over again, and to eventually raise a family and build another life for themselves after their sentence is after they have served their time. It's essentially a change of philosophy, because in Norway, they say that people go to court to get punished and go to prison to become better neighbors. The idea is prison should be built on reflecting the communities where they are built and provide inmates greater access to nature. And this plays a massive component of rehabilitation and restorative justice. And it's why prisons today in Norway, why they're more humane. And this image right here, it was from Halden Prison. It's their maximum security prison, but it's been hailed as one of the most humane prisons in the world. And it's incredibly luxurious. But that has a point, because in Norway, the life in prison should replicate society as much as possible. Because if prison it closely resembles society, then incarcerated individuals, people who broke the law, they will have more of an easier time to reintegrate back into society again. And when they have an easier time to reintegrate, then they won't commit another crime again. So that's the idea of humane prisons. But how does this relate to Salinas Valley and the state of California and also the United States? Well, that is because California and even the state of North Dakota, and even the state of North Dakota has been bringing forth a lot of the Norwegian prison penal values and philosophies of how we think about incarceration, and mainly because they're finding new ways to reduce the recidivism rates, to reduce incarcerated individuals' recidivism rates, to make life in prison more humane, recognizing them by their real names, calling them by their real names, not by their numbers, treating them more as human beings, will help them become better neighbors and better citizens to our community. And that's the idea of why Salinas Valley is applying a lot of the Norwegian prison model. And that's why Governor Gavin Newsom also wants to do that and we've seen that with San Quentin State Prison, mainly because if you know one thing you saw in the news is Governor Gavin Newsom announced that San Quentin State Prison was going to be renamed to San Quentin Rehabilitation Center, and parts of the facility are going to be reconstructed to make way for rehabilitation programs. And he's applying, and part of that rehabilitation program is he is injecting a lot of Norwegian prison philosophies and helping and treating incarcerated individuals as simply as human beings. And that's exactly what the California model and Salinas Valley and San Quentin is doing. It's the idea. It's a change of mindset, and a change of mindset of how we think about prison, because because first and foremost, I believe that it's time for a change in the prison system. It is time for a change within our justice system, because the old way of doing crime that we did in the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s, where we saw politicians respond to the rising crime that happened in the 70s, where we declared a war on drugs, where we declared a war on poverty, where we resorted to tough on crime rhetoric, and we spent a lot of money on law enforcement and passed laws that punished people for lowliest offenses by implementing things such as the 3 strikes law, and also mandatory minimums as well. That has contributed to mass incarceration, and it's why the United States is 20% of the world's prisoners, and that's exactly why the United States and even California is experimenting, and why they're learning from Norway, because Norway had a similar problem that we are facing today. Because in the 1990s, Norway had a similar problem as well. Roughly 70% of all released prisoners recommitted crimes within 2 years of release. The recidivism rates in Norway in the 1990s equal to the recidivism rates to the United States today. The United States is facing a similar problem that Norway faced in 1990. And that is exactly why Norway began changing their prison system to the prison system that they are known today. And because of that change, they eliminated things like life sentences. Now the maximum sentence that an incarcerated person can be sentenced to is like is a 30-year maximum sentence. So for like certain crimes that include genocide, crimes against humanity, and other war crimes. And they eliminated things like life sentences, the death penalty, and ultimately as well, they also moved in a more humane direction, focused more on rehabilitation, restorative justice, and the benefits of that, and the benefits of moving towards rehabilitation, what the California model and North Dakota has been doing, is that in Norway, one of the benefits of moving towards a more humane approach, a more rehabilitative approach, is that 60% of sentences in Norway are less than 3 months. 90% of sentences are less than a year long, and the recidivism rates are only at 25%, which means only 25% of inmates in Norway reoffend because of the changes that Norway made to their prison system by moving away from mass punishment and more in the realm of rehabilitation and restorative justice. And that is exactly what the California model is doing. Focused more on the idea of rehabilitation, education, restorative justice, and reentry. So the California model, and going even further, the California model that Salinas Valley relies on, and also San Quentin State Prison relies on as well, it's built on 4 foundational principles. One of those key pillars, is dynamic security. And it is ultimately an approach that promotes positive relationships between staff and incarcerated people. And it's accomplished through purposeful activities and professional, positive, and respectful communication between guards and incarcerated individuals. And this is a main aspect of how Norway does it, and the idea is that it's essentially having a good relationship with between staff and inmates, where the guards are essentially building a friendship with them, and treating in which they're on an equal level. The guards and the inmates, they're all on an equal level. They're all being treated as human beings. And that is exactly what in this article here, what this actually demonstrates. So from this article, San Quentin State Prison, in these images here, the correctional officers and also the inmates were playing kickball, and this is the idea, and this demonstrates dynamic security. It's them being on an equal level and building a friendship with them. It's not this idea. It's not this us versus them dynamic. It's them being all treated as human beings, being all given the equal rights, and that's one of the pillars of the California model: dynamic security, fostering a positive relationship between staff and incarcerated people, and that is one of the cornerstones towards rehabilitation and restorative justice, allowing in which staff are essentially not just guards, they're also social workers as well, in which they're ultimately helping them become better citizens to society. And that's one of the pillars of the California model. And on top of that, the biggest pillar, as I explained earlier, is normalization. And it's the idea that life in prison should replicate society as much as possible. It should resemble society as much as possible. It should be more humane. It should be more humane. And going even further, going back to one of the articles, providing inmates greater access to nature. So if you create a more positive environment in prison, you are essentially changing incarcerated individuals' mindset. You're giving them more incentive to want to participate in rehabilitative programs, and when they do that, and when you start doing that, then you're bringing hope into this community, and you're also allowing them to become better neighbors and better citizens. And when you do that, you're making it easier for people that break the law to become better citizens, and to make it and give them a much more easier time to transition and adjust to life in the community upon release. And it's why I support the California model. It's time for a change of mindset. It is time for a change in mindset. in my opinion, prison should not be about punishment. Prison is rehabilitation. It is restorative justice. It is education and reentry. The idea of punishment falls that's the court's responsibility. The court's responsibility is to punish and hold the person accountable for his wrongdoing. You see, what's the purpose of our court system? What's the purpose of our judicial system? It is to give all people the right to due process. It is to give all people the right to prove their innocence, and to ensure that and to also ensure that everyone are held accountable. Because the idea of the court system is you have your defense attorney, or the person who is proving is innocent can also have the right to represent himself. And their goal, the defense team, the defense attorney, or if the person is representing himself, his idea is his goal is to prove his innocence, and he does this by presenting evidence to the jury to persuade to the jury that he's innocent, that he's innocent of the crime. And then you have your prosecutor. The prosecutor is all about persuading to the jury that this guy is guilty of the crime by presenting evidence, by presenting evidence that he did the crime. Once the defense team and the prosecution team make their case, then the jury deliberates, and they ultimately vote of whether the person's innocent or guilty. If he's innocent, then he's simply let go. But if he's guilty, he's going to be punished. And it's the judge's job to give him that punishment, and that is either through community service, prison sentencing, and also prison sentencing as well. And once the judge sentences him, and the guy goes to his assigned prison, that is when the process of rehabilitation begins. People go to court to be punished, and then people go to prison to become better neighbors for society. And that is the change of mindset that the California model is attempting to do. And that is what Salinas Valley is attempting to do, and San Quentin State Prison, to ultimately turn incarcerated individuals into better citizens. And it's why I support this, why I'm a champion for the California model, why I'm a big believer in the Norwegian prison model, where prison is more humane and it's built more on rehabilitation and restorative justice. But overall, you guys, share your opinion in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree with me? About the California model? Share your opinion in the comment section below. But again, please be very civil and respectful to those that disagree. And have a respectful conversation to others in the comment section below. Let's show that we are better than the Democrats and Republicans. Let's show that we can work together. We are more willing to work with anyone to ultimately reimagine a better tomorrow for all Californians and for all Americans. But overall, you guys, don't forget to like and subscribe and comment down below. And until next time, guys, this is the Young Centrist, and I am out.